When we talk about love, most people's minds immediately attach it to appearances, abilities, and the way someone moves or functions in the physical world. But real love is never bound by the limits of the body. It reaches into a deeper, unseen space where energy meets energy, where connection goes far beyond what the eyes can see. When my love is in a wheelchair, it doesn't change the essence of who they are, it simply changes one part of the physical expression. The truth is, the wheelchair is not them. It is an object, a tool, a means for mobility, nothing more than a chair on wheels. It has no power to define their worth, their beauty, their intelligence, or the depth of the love we share. The essence of a person is invisible. It's their voice, their laugh, their kindness, their dreams, their resilience, their soul. And when you're truly in love, you stop measuring the person you cherish by the size of their steps, and instead by the size of their heart. It's easy for the world to fixate on differences. Some people will look at a wheelchair and immediately attach labels. Limited, less capable, unfortunate. But those words are only reflections of the speaker's own limited thinking, not reality. If anything, loving someone in a wheelchair can open your eyes to the incredible power of the human spirit. You begin to see that life isn't about how fast someone can walk, but about how deeply they can live. Every moment spent together becomes proof that connection is not restricted by mechanics. A wheelchair cannot hold back a person's ability to love, to inspire, to dream, to make you laugh until your stomach aches. It cannot cage their creativity, their courage, or their wisdom. The only real limitations in life are the ones people accept in their minds, and love has the power to dissolve those. When I look into my partner's eyes, I don't see the wheelchair at all. I see the person who has shared my fears, celebrated my wins, and stood beside me through storms. I see the strength it takes to face every single day in a world that often overlooks or underestimates people with disabilities. That kind of strength is magnetic. It draws you in, makes you admire them even more. There is a beauty in resilience, and I see it shining in them every day. I see how they adapt, how they push forward, how they keep showing up for life. That is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of a warrior. Loving someone in a wheelchair also teaches you something profound about the nature of attraction. At first, society tries to make you believe attraction is purely about physical perfection, as if there's a mold everyone must fit into to be worthy of love. But when your heart is connected to someone beyond the surface, you realize attraction is about energy. It's about the way a person makes you feel, the way they light up your world, the way their presence feels like home. You don't wake up thinking, "This person can't walk." You wake up thinking, "This person is my everything." And that awareness reshapes your entire definition of beauty. The wheelchair might be part of their life, but it's not part of your love. Love sees the person, not the circumstance. The truth is, everyone in this world has something they carry. Some people have visible challenges, others have invisible ones. Some wear their battles on the outside, others hide them deep within. The difference is simply that with a wheelchair, the challenge is seen. But that visibility is also a gift, because it allows you to witness firsthand how they rise above it. You get to see their perseverance in real time, and that inspires you to rise higher yourself. When you strip away the noise of the world's opinions, you realize that your connection is built on shared experiences, shared laughter, shared dreams, and mutual respect. It's built on conversations that stretch into the night, on the comfort of holding hands, on the safety of knowing this person truly sees you for who you are. And when you have that, when you have a love that is real and raw and pure, no wheelchair in the world can weaken it. If anything, it deepens it, because you start to appreciate the little things in ways most people overlook. You appreciate every smile, every moment of eye contact, every inside joke. You begin to see how precious each day is, how fragile and beautiful life really is. And then something magical happens. You stop even noticing the wheelchair. not because you ignore it, but because it becomes irrelevant. It is simply there, like the color of their hair or the tone of their voice, a detail in a much bigger picture. The core of your relationship lives in a place untouched by wheels, metal, or physical boundaries. It lives in the warmth of your shared energy, the electricity of your connection, the trust you've built, and the unwavering belief that you belong together. And once you experience love at that level, the physical world no longer dictates what's possible between you. Negative feelings are like shadows. They only appear when you turn your back to the light. When love meets a challenge, such as a partner being in a wheelchair, those shadows can try to creep in. They whisper thoughts about what's missing, what's different, or what might be harder. But the truth is, those feelings aren't coming from reality, they're born from focus. Whatever you focus on expands. If your mind is locked on what's absent, you'll feel the weight of loss. If your mind is tuned to what's present and beautiful, you'll feel abundance. It's not the circumstance that dictates how you feel, it's the perspective you choose to hold. When you focus on limitations, you create a mental frame that blocks out everything else. You could be surrounded by love, laughter, and deep connection, but all you'll see is the one thing you believe is wrong. The mind is powerful that way. It filters reality to match your focus. If your thoughts are wrapped around what your partner can't do, you'll overlook all the things they can do, all the ways they enrich your life, all the moments that are worth cherishing. This is why the shift from limitation to possibility is so critical. It's like changing the lens on a camera. Suddenly the blurry, dull picture sharpens into something vibrant and alive. Possibilities are everywhere when you choose to see them. A wheelchair might change how certain activities are done, but it doesn't erase them from existence. Maybe you don't go hiking on steep trails, but you discover beautiful, accessible nature paths together. Maybe you adapt the way you travel, and in doing so, you uncover destinations and experiences most people overlook. Instead of thinking, "Wah, can't dance like other couples," you realize you can create your own style of dancing, one that's uniquely yours and just as filled with joy. The moment you start looking for ways to make life richer, instead of ways it's restricted, you begin to uncover treasures you didn't know were there. It's not about pretending challenges don't exist. It's about refusing to let them define the whole story. Every relationship faces something: financial struggles, health issues, distance, disagreements. In your case, the visible challenge is mobility. But the invisible truth is that mobility is just one aspect of life, and it can be navigated with creativity, teamwork, and love. What matters most is the emotional mobility you share, the ability to move through life together with adaptability, patience, and optimism. Negative feelings can also be fueled by comparison. You might see other couples doing things that seem easier for them, and a part of you might wonder, why can't we have that? But comparison is a thief. It steals the joy of what you do have. Every couple has their own unique dynamic, their own challenges behind closed doors. When you focus on building your own happiness, instead of measuring it against someone else's, you free yourself from unnecessary pain. Your relationship doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It only has to feel right for you. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for overcoming negative feelings. When you start each day thinking of the reasons you're grateful for your partner, the energy of your relationship shifts. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and then more than enough. Instead of thinking about the places you can't go, you think about the conversations you've shared that others might never experience. Instead of wishing for a life without challenges, you feel grateful for the strength you've built together because of them. Gratitude turns your focus toward abundance, and abundance always expands. It's also important to recognize that limitations often live more in the mind than in reality. A person in a wheelchair might have found ways to live more fully and boldly than people with no physical restrictions at all. They may have developed resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills that make them even more capable in many areas. When you see your partner in this light, you stop thinking in terms of less and start thinking in terms of different. Different is not less. It's simply another way of experiencing the world. When you allow yourself to focus on possibilities, something beautiful happens. You start creating them. You begin to plan experiences that fit your life instead of forcing your life to fit someone else's mold. You start finding joy in small, meaningful details, like a night spent cooking together, watching a favorite movie, exploring a place you've never been, or laughing about something only the two of you understand. These moments become the fabric of your love story, and they are no less valuable than the grand gestures or adventures you might see others having. Shifting from limitations to possibilities isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. The mind will sometimes try to wander back to what's missing, because that's the easier path for a brain wired for survival. But when you train yourself to redirect your thoughts, you reclaim your power. You can look at the same situation in two completely different ways. One will drain your spirit, the other will fill it. And every time you choose the latter, your relationship becomes stronger, lighter, and more fulfilling. The way you feel about any situation is shaped by the picture you hold in your mind. The mind is not just a receiver of reality, it's a projector, constantly casting images and meanings onto the screen of your life. Two people can look at the exact same set of circumstances and experience completely different emotions, all because of the perspective they've chosen to adopt. When your partner is in a wheelchair, your perspective becomes the determining factor in whether you see your relationship as limited or as rich with depth and beauty. If the picture in your mind is one of lack, you will feel lack. If the picture in your mind is one of strength, connection, and shared dreams, you will feel fulfillment. Perspective is shaped by the questions you ask yourself. If you ask, "Why is this so hard?" your mind will find reasons to agree. But if you ask, "What's wonderful about this relationship?" your mind will also find reasons to agree. The brain is loyal. It will search for evidence to match the direction you give it. This is why guarding your perspective is so essential. Negative feelings are rarely the result of the situation itself. They come from the story we tell ourselves about that situation. If the story is one of limitation and difficulty, it will color every moment you share. But if the story is one of love, resilience, and gratitude, that is what you will experience every day. There's also an unspoken truth about perspective. It is contagious. The way you see your partner will shape how they see themselves in the context of your relationship. If you treat them as capable, valuable, and inspiring, they will feel those qualities reflected back to them. If you dwell on their challenges, they will feel that, too. Your perspective is not just a private mental exercise. It's a form of communication that speaks louder than words. It shows in your tone, in your body language, in the way you include them in decisions and activities. When your perspective honors their strength and worth, you nurture a relationship built on respect and empowerment. Perspective is also influenced by what you choose to magnify. The mind is like a magnifying glass. It can make problems appear overwhelming, or it can enlarge moments of joy until they fill your entire view. You can choose to magnify the frustrations, like a plan that needs adjusting, or a place you can't easily access. Or you can choose to magnify the laughter you share, the intimate conversations, the small acts of care and kindness. What you magnify becomes the emotional climate of your relationship. If you want warmth, magnify the warmth. If you want connection, magnify the connection. Another layer to perspective is the ability to see beyond the present moment. A wheelchair may be part of your partner's life now, but it does not define the total arc of your journey together. Every relationship is a moving story, constantly evolving, with challenges and victories along the way. When you take the long view, you realize that a single challenge, no matter how visible, is only one thread in a much larger tapestry. You start to see how it contributes to the strength of your bond, the patience you've learned, the creativity you've developed together. Instead of seeing it as an obstacle in your way, you begin to see it as a sculptor shaping the depth of your connection. Perspective is also about choosing meaning over circumstance. Circumstances are neutral until we assign them meaning. A wheelchair is an object. It is neither positive nor negative until you decide what it represents in your life. For some, it might symbolize loss. For others, it might symbolize freedom. Freedom to move, to explore, to live more fully than they could without it. When you decide that the wheelchair is simply a part of your love story, not a barrier to it, you open the door to a new emotional reality. That decision is yours to make every single day. The lens of perspective also filters what you remember. Think of all the memories you've already created with your partner. The trips, the meals, the shared dreams, the private jokes that only the two of you understand. When you look back on them, the wheelchair isn't the centerpiece of those moments. It's in the background, often unnoticed. What stands out is the way they smiled at you, the way they made you feel safe, the way your hearts moved in sync. If you make it a habit to recall and relive those moments, they will shape the way you see your present and your future. And finally, perspective is a choice you make repeatedly, not once. The mind will try to slip back into old patterns, especially when faced with frustration or fatigue. But each time you catch yourself seeing through a lens of lack, you can consciously replace it with a lens of love. You can remind yourself of the truth that your connection is more than physical, that your bond is more than circumstance, that your love is not diminished, but rather deepened by the journey you share. This is the quiet power of perspective. It can turn the same set of facts into a story of struggle or a story of triumph, and you are the author holding the pen. When two people come together in love, the most powerful force they can create is a shared vision for the future. A vision is not just a collection of goals, it's an emotional blueprint for the life you want to build together. It gives direction, meaning, and purpose to every decision you make as a couple. When one partner is in a wheelchair, that shared vision becomes even more valuable because it shifts the focus away from what might seem like obstacles and centers it on what you're working toward. A strong vision turns potential limitations into creative challenges, and it gives you something bigger than any day-to-day difficulty to focus on. A shared vision is built from conversations that go beyond the surface. It's about dreaming together without holding back. You talk about the places you want to visit, the home you want to create, the experiences you want to share. You talk about the kind of impact you want to have in the lives of others, the kind of legacy you want to leave. These conversations are not just romantic. They are practical acts of building a future. They create alignment between your hearts and your actions, ensuring that you're both moving in the same direction. When a couple doesn't have a shared vision, small problems can feel overwhelming because there's nothing larger to anchor the relationship. But when you have that vision, you start to see every challenge as a step towards something meaningful. If travel is part of your dream, then accessibility becomes a puzzle you're both excited to solve instead of a wall you can't get past. If you dream of building a family, then you figure out the ways to create that environment together, regardless of mobility. The dream stays intact because you've committed to it together, and the details become part of the adventure. Creating a vision together also changes the way you communicate. Instead of reacting to situations in the moment, you make choices based on whether they move you closer to or further from your dream. That mindset brings clarity and reduces unnecessary conflict, because your priorities are already agreed upon. When life throws unexpected changes your way, your vision acts like a compass. It might require you to adjust your path, but the destination remains the same. This shared sense of direction strengthens trust, because you both know you're committed to the same journey. A shared vision can also ignite motivation during times when emotions run low. Every relationship has days when things feel harder than usual. But when you can look at your partner and remember the bigger picture you're building, it brings back a sense of purpose. You remind each other why you started, why you keep going, and why the love you share is worth every effort. The vision becomes a source of energy, a reminder that the story you're writing together is bigger than any single chapter. It's important that your vision reflects not just your own desires, but also your partner's. This isn't about one person sacrificing their dreams for the other. It's about blending your dreams into something that excites you both. You listen to each other's hopes, values, and priorities, and you find the overlap. That overlap becomes sacred ground, the place where your energies merge and grow. When you both feel seen and valued in the vision, your bond deepens. Because you know your future is something you've created together, not something imposed by one person. Building a shared vision also pushes you to grow individually. If your vision includes financial freedom, maybe you both commit to learning new skills or making smarter choices about money. If your vision includes adventure, you might both work on improving your health, adaptability, or confidence. In this way, the vision not only strengthens your relationship, but also makes each of you a stronger, more capable person. For couples where one partner is in a wheelchair, the process of creating and living out a vision can be even more empowering. It proves that your relationship is not defined by mobility, but by intention. The world may try to set limits, but your vision ignores those boundaries and focuses on what you choose to create. It makes your relationship a team effort, where you're not just reacting to circumstances, but actively shaping your future. And when you experience victories along the way, whether big or small, they become celebrations of the love and determination you share. A shared vision also changes the way you handle setbacks. Instead of seeing them as failures, you view them as redirections, opportunities to adjust your approach while keeping your dream intact. You learn patience, resilience, and creative problem solving. And because you're facing these challenges together, each success becomes a joint accomplishment that strengthens the foundation of your relationship. When you have a vision, you also inspire the people around you. Friends, family, and even strangers can see that your love is not just about enjoying the present, but about building something lasting. You become a living example that love can thrive in any circumstance when it has a purpose. This influence not only uplifts others, but also reinforces your own commitment to the path you've chosen together.